done some really beautiful past life regressions in my life, ones that I really cherish and really value, and ones that are really memorable. And some can be just kind of normal or like really simple and don't really stand out that much. I mean, they all do, like they all are really interesting, but some really stand out and are just so powerful that I sometimes use them as examples for others or for even other clients, or to explain how this process works. So past life regression is actually not even so much a hypnosis, but it's going into like deep into your subconscious. And what happens is that so me as the giving you the treatment, you would just like lay down or sit in a really comfortable place and totally relax your body. So you would just go into a place of real great stillness and quiet. So we would reserve about 2 or 3 hours to do this, and go through this beautiful process that you would be gifting yourself to look at an issue deeper, whether it would be a relationship, like for example, if you want to look at the connection with your mother or father or brother or sister, or a co-worker, or like your best friend or significant other, your boss, your employee, or anybody that you have like a difficult or kind of like a stuck relationship with, or that you need some answers or solutions for or to. So either that, or we would look at an issue like, for example, self-worth, or like a situation that happened to you, some form of abuse, perhaps like physical or sexual or emotional, mental. So any kind of harm or trauma that you may have, or that you experience, that you feel that is not resolved, and you haven't really found a method to resolve it yet, a past life regression would be really great to dive really deep into it. So for example, this one client that I had, he had a lot of self-doubt, and he really was looking to overcome his self-doubt and gain confidence in himself again, and to know the reason why he's here on this earth again, and to remember who he is and who he was. So he was actually even like a Jewish shaman, so it was really interesting to work with him, because he was already really sensitive to these processes and to the subtle energies and to the mind, body, and soul connection, to the holistic connection that I work with. So it was amazing to connect with him and to work on this together. So when we went into a session, I gave him first a Reiki session, which is a really relaxing technique that I use to completely relax the mind, body, and soul, and to go into an alpha state. So that's a state between being awake and sleeping. And so he completely relaxed his mind, body, and soul, and opened up his chakras as well, and just got into a very pleasant state of mind as well, and relaxation. So we cleansed the room of the negative energies and filled the whole room, the whole space, with bliss and with positive energies and with white light and spiritual goodness. And of course, I cleansed myself too, and him as well. So then, like that took some time just to completely relax. And then we went into, it's like a trance. It's like a very relaxed state. And, that allows us to go really deep into our subconscious and to remember, actually, because our soul remembers. And it's all in our soul, like it's all the memories are already there, so we're just retrieving them, actually. And so it's actually a process of remembering. You may have already felt some gentle like flashes or some like hints or signs of some of your past lives. Like you may feel like, oh, maybe I was a queen in a past life, or I was a king, or I was, a merchant, or a doctor, or a politician, right? So you may have felt that, and the soul, remember, the soul is the same. So as the soul is reborn, it's the same soul, and it picks up those memories, even though we forget a lot of it, and we're born like new, like we start a new life, but our soul does remember. So like when we go to these like deep states of delving into the subconscious, it is possible to remember. So yeah, this client had a really interesting past life, and so remember that he started off feeling that he wanted to get more self-confidence, or he wanted to like get rid of the self-doubt that he had. So we went into a past life, and it was just really, really fascinating. Like from the start, like he just he was remembering, wow, like he was a part of the golden age. He was in the golden age, and he was one of the gods, actually. So his best friend was Ganesh, the elephant god, like the one that looks like the elephant. And so like this actually, it's really interesting, because just like what they say, that the teacher also learns from the student. So not only the student learns from the teacher, but it's vice versa. Like we are all learning from each other. And me as a healer, like I learn so much from the people that I treat, or that I facilitate in their healing, and I love it. It's so beautiful. And so I've learned so much. And like one of the questions that I had in my life was, why are there so many religions in the world? Like, why isn't there just one, right? So I grew up in the Christian environment at the church, and I just like, that's all I knew, at the beginning of my life, even though really love was the first thing that I knew from my grandparents, or from my family, my parents, or the people around me. I just remember as a child, like feeling so much joy, so much love, so much playfulness and happiness, and just like nature, like enjoying the things that I was doing. And so I always kind of found church like really kind of stuffy. Like, why do we have to like sit there and listen and like not play, not move, not just like not be free, but feel so constricted. And so even though like my family did have a lot of like high positions in the church, like priests, like pastors, and leaders of the church, or choir leaders, and so like important roles, and like really like played a big role in other people's lives, and like were really generous and like helpful, and just like really, really good, kind people. But I always later on, like when I was growing up. So later on, especially in Canada, I met other people from different religions and different denominations, and they were really, really kind and sweet people. And I always, ask myself, like, why are my best friends, from other religions and not from my church or from Christianity? Why do I love them so much, and why they love me so much? Like, why do we feel so happy together? And like, I just started asking myself all these questions, like, why do people believe in all these different gods and all these like different spiritual beings? And so it was actually during this past life regression that I had with this client that I found out the answer. Well, I got some hints about it from a book that I read in the past, about past, like a near-death experience. So the person's soul went to kind of like heaven, or to meet God and the spiritual beings. And so he went to a library, and like he kind of got many answers from God. And so he was basically shown that the religions are different like levels of understanding that people have. So like some people have just like a basic understanding of spirituality or God, or like capacity to understand, and some can go higher and just be more like refined in their religion or in their spirituality. So yeah, that definitely gave me answers, and just like calmed me down, or like soothed my soul, and really helped me to understand these really important things and interesting things. And it was also this guy's past life regression that helped me to understand it even deeper. He said that he was one of the gods, and like they had their worshippers on earth here, and that those gods also had like the creator god, which was like above. It was like a hierarchy, so like a pyramid or something. And like, so the creator was on top, and so he was the one, or she, like that top god was the one that provided all their gave them the energy, gave them clothes, gave them just all their abilities and everything, and cared for them, provided for them. And then those like kind of like the lesser gods, or like the ones like the like the bottom, like middle part of the hierarchy, they had their temples like from people and worshippers and things like that. So it just like put everything into perspective. It was just so beautiful. And then I just remembered like when people prayed to like, oh, the highest God, the Almighty, right, like the kind of the top God, right? Then I got that too, and it's kind of fun. I love it that it's like this big party. It's not just us and like one God or something like that, but there's just like so many like angels, so many spiritual beings, so many spirits, and so many just wonderful, beautiful, magical things out there that we can just enjoy and have so much fun with, and just take so much joy and pleasure from and with. So yeah, it's really, really amazing. And so when he started remembering from his past life that he was one of the gods, and that it was the golden age and the earth was bigger. They lived like a long time. They lived like 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 years, and they just died kind of whenever they wanted to. Like, okay, I've had enough. Okay, I want to go. So it wasn't like accidents or anything like that. They just chose to pass on. And there were like lots of waterfalls. Everything was like thick jungle style, and they didn't have to they were just like tall. So these beings were really tall, and like they were tall as trees. They ate only fruits, like bananas and fruits, and like this like crystalline water, drank crystalline water. So like this was just fascinating. It was like this fairy tale come to life through this guy's talking, sharing his visions of his past life. So yeah, and he was describing to me how there was just so much love, which I already knew, that the golden age is the time when like the love is the greatest. So there's just so much love. It just fills everything and is everywhere. And then as we go, lower into the to the other eras, it's the love decreases. So there's like the golden age, silver age, bronze age, and the dark ages. So yeah, right now we've been living in the dark ages, so the love is not that much, like it's not that abundant, it's not so prevalent, and as we go higher it increases, and the golden age has most of it, so it's all love. And so he was describing to me how they were just basically, their activities were like singing and dancing and playing and just like bathing, and like they didn't have to like walk anywhere or take any transportation. They would just like jump. So yeah, that was really interesting as well. And they also had like some like warrior training, and they had different teams. Like that's why the earth descended into the lower ages, because it was like the wrong side one. So they had like a battle or like a war, and then like the wrong side one. So it took them down, like their consciousness decreased, and the love got weaker, and so it took them down into the silver age. So yeah, like this was really amazing. And so he also described to me how like his heart was so precious and like a jewel, or like a treasure, and he gave it to a human because he thought that it would help her, and that human is actually his mom in this life. And so he gifted her that, like, his heart, because he wanted to kind of save her and show her like how to live a better life, how to increase her consciousness. And so he gave it to her, but then he lost it. Like, he shouldn't have done that. He needed to keep it to himself and just teach her, and just to let her practice, and maybe show her like techniques how to make her own heart stronger, and how to have a better life for herself. So he realized that he came to this earth now at this time to share love, and to give love, and to spread peace and joy and happiness. And so that was his mission. So after this session, he really remembered his purpose and his meaning of his life, and his being, and why he was here, and what the reason was that he came. And he walked away from the session like just full of joy and happiness and purpose again, and yeah, all good things. So it was just so beautiful and amazing. I really loved this work and doing this, and encouraging people on their paths, and helping to like reveal things that may have been partially hidden from them, or like that they need some assistance in unveiling or uncovering. So yeah, I love it so much, and I love to see how it helps them like emotionally, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, physically, on so many different levels, and with the relationships as well. So like during this past life regression, he also had a chance to forgive his mother, because he felt that like she kind of like stole or took something very precious from him that he later regretted, and so he went through a deep healing process with that as well, and he was able to forgive her and to like reset the relationship. And yeah, obviously that's really important, because that's your mother in this life, right? That's his mother. So it was really amazing that we were able to do this, and this type of healing happens in every session, and it's a really beautiful thing. I'm really grateful for this work. Thank you so much for sharing this with me, or for listening, and